Okay. I know, Mom. I need to go. I have a meeting at 9:30.
Liz, it's 9:30. You can get started.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't believe we have a quorum yet. Would you like me to go ahead still?
Nope. We can wait a minute.
I think we have a quorum now, Madam Chair. Nina just joined.
Okay, fantastic. Go ahead, Liz.
Thank you. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this September 26, 2022. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest. Excuse me, should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that calling users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Sure thing. Ms. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Faith? Ms. Britt?
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 3.
Okay, so just to announce, we only have 3 members today, so you're we do not have a full complement of board members, so you are allowed to postpone if you want to wait until we do have a full complement. So I just wanted to let you know that. So when we call your case, just let us know. Okay, postponements, Liz? Got quite a few.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 3 for you this morning. The first one is calendar number 22-115 regarding 1200 West 76th Street. The Shoreway Building LLC owner proposed to erect an additional 10-story apartment building consisting of 73 dwelling units and 183 parking spaces. They are still working on, I believe it's the community review, and they need more time. And I believe November 7th would be the first available date.
All right, put them on.
Thank you.
And
next
if
one
anyone's
is-
here, I'm sorry, if anyone's here for 22-115, you can leave. Okay, go ahead, Liz, sorry.
Thank you. The next one is calendar number 22-146 regarding 1242 West 65th Street. The owner, let's see, I think we have the description here. Jason Nahas proposed to install a front yard deck and front yard wooden fence in a B12 family residential district. This was originally postponed from August 29th to allow time for the appellant to meet with City Planning Commission staff and design review. I believe that they are still working on that and they need more time. November 7th is also the first available date, so that would work for us.
Okay.
And the next one is calendar number 22-73 regarding 1725 Holden Avenue. Fisher Payne LLC owner proposed to change use of existing two-family dwelling to a 3-family dwelling in a 2-family residential district. If you remember, this one has been postponed 2 times already. The first postponement was made from June 6th at the request of the councilman to allow time for community review. The second postponement, actually we've had 3. A second postponement was made at the request of the appellant to allow time to meet with the community group. The third postponement was made at the request of the board to allow time to make improvements to the property. The appellant stated that he's working with, on that. I guess there's an issue with the tenant. So those things need to be worked out before he comes back. So November 7th works for us again as well for this one, unless you want to give.
No, push that out.
more
I'm
time.
not, because I'm not postponing it again. So push that out further,
All right.
November 7th.
Actually, Madam Chair,
Yes,
if you, I am so sorry to interrupt you, but I agree that we should not postpone this anymore. But I honestly don't want to push it out. I think we should take an action if they're not ready. So I
Well, they're-
defer to you. I defer to you, Madam Chair.
yeah, they're not here, so, we can, not postpone it, but, we can't take, that's as far as we can go without the appellant being present with us.
No, I meant November 7th. I agree.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, we
November
should,
7th, but I would not like to postpone it further out. That's my point.
Madam Chair, also you do have the right to deny the postponement or dismiss the case. And they would have to apply again to us. That is the process in that case.
And Madam
Right.
Chair, I do notice that Donna Gerganis has her hand raised.
yeah, I just said that. Yeah, this is, Donna, are you giving actual testimony, or are you just giving us like what's going on with this case?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the commission. Donna Gregonis with Tremont West Development Corporation. We're talking about 1725 Holden, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'm not sure what the protocol is here. Would you like me to provide you an update with what's going on with this? And so you can make a decision? I hear you talking about it, or does that something that doesn't happen because it's not technically? So the local economic development committee for Tremont West Development Corporation voted not to. They decided that it sounds like you should probably throw it out because they were given a lot of things to do with the community, and they haven't completed any of those items. So the local block club and the economic development committee are not.
Okay, I don't want to hear what they want,
Okay.
so don't say that.
Sorry.
Okay, all right, thanks for that.
Sorry.
All right, yeah, I'm inclined to throw this out then. 3 postponements is enough, and it doesn't seem like they're moving any closer to what they're trying to do here, so. I'm okay with tossing this case out without objection, board.
No objection.
And again, for the record, Madam Chair, this is a dismissal. It is.
This is a dismissal, yes.
Yeah, they do have the right to apply again.
Yeah, they can come back, yes, absolutely.
When they're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all that we have for postponements and withdrawals this morning. Then back to you, Madam Chair.
And
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, looks like we have 2 council people on joining us this morning, and I believe Councilman Hairston was on first.
He was, actually, I saw him. So Ms. Holzer, we'll start with
165?
Yes.
That's correct. Okay. Maurice, I'll wait until we flipped over to it. I apologize for logging in late this morning too. So we are starting off with calendar number 22-165. This is at 694 East 92nd Street. Terrence Wilkinson proposes to erect a 1-story frame detached gable garage and deck in a B1 2-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as outlined in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 4. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. Councilman Anthony Harrison, 601 Lakeside.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there an appellant for this case? Mr. Wilkinson?
Yeah, I don't see anybody.
Okay,
Madam
well,
Chair?
we'll put this on pause and go to the next one. Hopefully they'll show up.
Thank you all. I'll give him a call just to make sure so he know next time to be on. I don't know what happened, but thank you.
Councilman, he can still join before we adjourn our hearings for the day.
Okay, I'll have my assistant shoot him a call just to make
Thank
sure
you, sir.
he's okay. Okay, thank you. All right.
Oh, all right, we'll move to the Councilman Morrow's case. Is this the one up here, Maurice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have calendar number 22-142. This is at 3605-07 Denison Avenue. Elena Badea proposes to establish use as residential facility for 5 occupants in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the public record and the agenda, of which there are 2. This case was postponed from August 22nd, 2022, at the request of the board to allow time for the appellant to meet with the councilwoman, the Development Corporation, and potentially neighbors as well. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
Yes, Cornell Shiraku at 3611 Denison.
And I do, Rebecca
do.
Moorer, 4708 Collin Drive.
Anyone else for the appellant that plan to give testimony, please swear in now.
Yes. No, it should be the owner. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. Elena Badea, 3605, 3607 Denison Avenue.
Thank you. Madam Chair.
And Craig Dixon,
Okay,
the architect, I do.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Madam
Okay,
Chair.
Liz, I think we, thank you. Liz, I think we got the history correct.
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 Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you. Liz, I can't remember how far we got with this. I think we got into a substantial conversation, but I don't remember how far in we got. Do you remember?
Not exactly. Yeah, I believe that we did have testimony, substantial testimony. It probably wouldn't hurt for the appellant to present the case again.
Okay, so is that you, Cornell?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what you want to do.
Well, last time we spoke, we were given some time, to speak with the neighbors, with the councilwoman,
Mm-hmm.
and we took care of those problems. You know, the neighbors, we had no problems with what we're trying to do up here.
So if I remember correctly, you already have one home and you're trying to expand next door to the other one. Do I remember that correctly?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay.
We own
All
the
right.
house next door, which we already
Yes.
have a family home. And we're just trying to expand a little bit up here with the other home, and we made some changes even in the backyard. It's one big property joined together, and at the same time, the assistant from Rebecca came over, and she looked at the property, and I told her what I was trying to do. She had no problem with it. And like I said, we're trying to help the veterans. That's why we're trying to open up this other family home next door.
Just tell us again a little bit about your operation. You know, how many people you're gonna have in there, how many workers you're gonna have in there, and will you be serving any, you know, are you administering any type of medication or anything like that? So just give us a quick overview of, you know, the operations of what you're doing.
So what our operation is, um, it's going to be for 5 people next door. We furnish 3 meals a day. We also administer their medications once a day, like we're supposed to, and we have to abide by the rules, just like we do for this family home that we're operating right now. And we've been over here for the past, I would say, 10 to 12 years. We've been doing this over here at this property.
And how many employees do you have?
It's just me and Helen.
Okay.
We take care of the property. So 2 people.
Okay, Councilwoman?
Hi, good morning, Chairwoman, and good morning to the board. Yes, this request for the ability to open a second group home within 1,000 feet of another group home came across our desk. I will commend the owner, Cornell and Elena, for reaching out really diligently to my office to make sure that we understood what was going on, the type of business that they operated, and why they were excited to expand next door. As Cornell explained, my assistant, Kathleen Moser, was on site last week to look at the property, and her notes to me were that this was the best maintained group home she had seen yet. It was particularly impressive to her that the owner and operator was, of course, on site. And that this made a lot of sense in terms of the properties being immediately adjacent to each other, and being able to share resources and backyard space. So to the extent that this provision of the code is meant to prevent sort of multiple operators having multiple group homes in close proximity to each other, this doesn't seem to be violative of that spirit. This would be the same operator immediately next door to each other. And we definitely here at my office when there's a group home that is causing issues, and we have not heard a single negative thing about this home yet. And so I'm here today to support the applicant's application to the board.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Appreciate you coming out with your support here. Board, I will open it up for any questions.
Madam Chair, I just want to affirm, and I believe the councilwoman just referenced it, but that the owner operators do live on site, and just confirm that.
Yes, they do. I mean, I can confirm it for you. They did say
Okay.
that.
Thank you. That's all.
No problem. Any other questions?
Madam Chair, hearing no other questions, I'll move forward. I appreciate the
When did you slip in here, Alana?
I had some tech issues this morning. I'm telling you, my laptop's running like a snail. So,
Okay.
but I am
Well,
here.
welcome.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here. So I was absent. I was out of state on the 22nd. So I appreciate the reiteration of the testimony from the appellant. And so we have glowing praise from the councilwoman, and it's great to see her present with us today. And I'm assuming we heard from city planning on the previous testimony, and they are in support of this. It's great.
Well, they actually, I think they deferred to
the
the
councilwoman.
Yeah.
So, and I think, typically we don't do group homes in such close adjacency, but being that this is the same ownership and it's owner occupied, we're sort of treating it as one kind of facility, really. So we're glad to see them in support of the veterans. The home is going to be for 5 people. The appellant noted that they serve 3 meals a day. They administer medications 1 time a day, and they are following all the necessary rules and guidelines for group homes. And as the councilwoman stated, her representative noted that it was impressively maintained. So with all that being said, Madam Chair, I move that we go ahead and approve variance for calendar number 22-142.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Member Brown, I second.
Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Holter,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 22-142 is granted. It'll be ratified next week when we meet again, and then we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you all for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is this the
Although now, Madam Chair, I do see that the councilman is gone.
we'll move to the next case?
So should we start at the top then?
Yes, please.
In an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Thank you. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. My name is Nicole McBride. My address is 17426 Eldermere Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44128.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1945, a permit was issued to erect a single-family dwelling. 1949, a permit was issued to erect a garage. There are no variances on file. And Madam Chair, we found in our more recent history that in 2018, a permit was issued to board up an opening on the property. And that's all that I have that's relevant.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. McBride, tell us what you like to do.
Yes, hi. I am planning on, well, what I would like to do is have a in-home family childcare with ODJFS certified. It's a type A, and so there's two types. There's a type B where you will have daycare children up to 6, and then the type A, which what I want to do, you can have up to 12. And currently I do daycare for 4 children where you don't need any type of permit or anything, they're private pay, but I'm looking to extend. And that's because right now I have a lot of other referrals, and I'm also a registered nurse. So I was trying to relocate my career over to the daycare portion. So that's what I'm planning on trying to do. I've turned my whole downstairs living area, the living room, the dining room, all into the daycare space.
Okay, and what are your hours of operation?
The hours of operation, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, hold on 1 second. This is a very small list. Can you kind of summarize what's going on here on the screen?
Sure thing. We do have 2 letters of opposition. I believe before you is an opposition letter to the left. If you'd like, I could read that out loud, but the main concerns are number 1, added traffic on the street. Number 2, hours of operation. The number of children. They're concerned about the ages of children and where they would play. And then there was another letter that we received from a resident on the street. She stated that the people on the street are older and some have been here for 60 years. So they're very concerned about, they do not want the daycare on the street. But also on the screen is a support letter from Councilman Jones. I can read that for you. States, as a councilman for Ward 1, I've been notified by resident Nicole McBride, who resides at this address, of her plans to own and operate a ODJFS Type A family child care center in her private home. He's discussed the pros and cons of the type of business, and she has a verbalized understanding. Nicole McBride is an upstanding resident of her community, and she's advised surrounding neighbors of her intent to provide childcare services to children from the ages of infant to 12 years, from the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. She has received written consent from neighbors stating that they have no problems and for her plan to care for children in her private home. Nicole agrees to comply with all the rules and regulations of ODJFS, as well as city ordinances in respect to neighbors. He states, please accept this written consent and approval from him in support of Nicole McBride and her plans to start her family child care center in her private residence. And attached to his letter were 2 form letters. One was from Nina Turner at 15516 Eldermere Avenue. It states that she's been made aware of the homeowners on Eldermere seeking approval to start a type A family child care in her private residence. The appellant has formally introduced herself and the proposal to me, and she signed this as acknowledgement that she approves the proposal. And then the same form letter is, there's a second one that's submitted here for the address of 17419 Eldemere. That's Marilyn and Jerome Cargill. They state the same thing, that they approve the proposal. That's all that I have for you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Liz. Ms. McBride, normally the issues we have with going up to 12 kids in a residential area is that it essentially turns it into a full-on business, and that could be disruptive to the area. So can you talk about what your plans are as far as like pick up and drop off, and what your noise levels are going to be, and that sort of thing?
And the age of the children, ma'am?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. First off, I don't plan on actually having 12 children. It's just that the type A allows you up to 12 children. My plan is to have where I have now is planned to have up to at least 7 to 8. So I never had planned on having 12. I'd said at least 8 because that's what I had on my waiting list. But when I wanted the 8, that's when they said I had to do type A. It just allows you to do up to 12. And as far as noise level, I have a backyard that I plan on using. And then as far as the traffic is concerned, some of the children are going to be picked up and dropped off by myself. So there shouldn't be a lot of traffic. And then the ages that I'm planning on doing is from infant up to school age, about 6 years old, 5 years old, I'm sorry. So it's not like I plan on having 12 children running up and down the street. I don't even plan on using my front yard for the activities of the children. And also we'll be doing a lot of outings, so we wouldn't even be in the home all day as well. And to piggyback off the letter that I just seen up there saying that there's another daycare on our street. If there is, I'm not aware of it. I see that she stated that there's toys and stuff in front of the yard. On my end, I have no clue of it. I mean, the few people that I do know in the neighborhood and across the street, Miss Cargill and them, they've been there since 78. And I've had no problem with any of my neighbors or anything like that. And this letter that's coming from Janet Williams, I'm not even sure who Janet Williams is because I don't see her address on here to say who she is. But all I say is that I don't plan on disrupting the neighborhood at all. This is actually going to be uplifting to the neighborhood because I'm helping a lot of local ladies that live in our neighborhood. So
that's what I was just going to ask. Were you pulling from, for your clients pulling from the neighborhood, and that, like you said before, you do provide pick up and drop off for some of your kids, correct?
Yes, of course. I'm going to have one other young lady working with me as well. So she's going to be assisting with the pickup and drop off because the 2 current ladies that I do help, they are young single parents and they do not have adequate transportation. So that's what got me into this to help out more because they need pickup and drop off, especially when the weather is not that good.
Okay, thank you for providing all the information and actually doing your due diligence up front to get everything in front of us. I really do appreciate that. City planning?
Madam Chair, as you know, you pretty much stated all of my concerns that we always have with these. The fact that it can be considered a business when you get up to 12 children with all the comings and goings of, drop-offs and pickups and the potential noise and disruption to the rest of the neighborhood. But I have to say, we've got this good support letter from the councilman, 2 other people that are in favor of it. I will also have to say that the presentation we just heard was pretty thorough, and it's done a lot to assuage my fears or concerns, I should say, that we normally have for these kinds of uses. So I would support it.
Thank you. Board, any
Madam
follow-up questions?
I do, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask Ms. McBride if she has spoken to her neighbors on either side of her. The addresses that were listed are not adjacent.
Actually, yes, the one neighbor on the side of me to my left, he actually is the son of the homeowner. The homeowner passed away in 2019, and he is the son. He and I have a very good rapport. And what I did is that template letter that you see, the 2 neighbors, I put that on the surrounding neighbors around me. So the neighbor to my left, he didn't quite understand. And from my understanding, he doesn't have a quite understanding of the situation. So his question to me is, why do you need me to approve to do what you want to do in your own home? He said, I'm not sure why you need my approval. And so it was like he didn't fully understand what was going on. And so I didn't want to force him to just put a signature on this template, because he did, even though I tried to explain to him, and his reply was, Nicole, I don't care what you do over at your own house. And so I didn't. The lady next door to me, where my driveway is located, actually, I do not know her. I did put a letter on her door, and I actually went over to her home and knocked on the door, didn't get a reply. She moved there. It was an abandoned home, and some investors bought it, and she moved there. She wasn't very friendly. I tried to welcome her to the neighborhood, no, and I just couldn't get anything from her. And I think it's because my cameras caught her kids stealing my packages. And ever since then, she's been muted. She won't even speak. But I knew my packages kept missing and my cameras caught, and I went to her. Instead of calling the police, I thought I was doing my, be a nice neighbor. Like, I think they accidentally keep taking my packages off my deck. And she returned them, and I haven't heard anything from her since.
Thank you for answering my question. Madam Chair, that's all I have.
Any other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, I have a comment. This is Liz.
Yes.
If you are interested, if the board is interested, we can limit the number of kids.
I was gonna see if that was gonna come in the motion or not. So yeah. I believe Ms. McBride, you said you wanted up to 8, correct?
Correct. I never planned on doing 12. That's just too many for me anyhow.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I like that idea of limiting it. I didn't realize that we could do that on daycare.
All right.
I support that, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion then.
Okay, we're all on the same page with regard to the number of children, so that's great. Madam Chair, we have support from the city councilman. We have support from city planning. Ms. McBride has given us a thorough presentation. I think we appreciate the fact that she's also a registered nurse and shifting her skill set into childcare. So that's to be commended. This is an ODJFS certified childcare facility that she's planning on opening. She is willing to limit the number of children to 8 rather than going to 12. Her hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. She's adding 1 staff member. She does transportation of some of the students or the children herself. And with all that being said, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 22-158.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Board Member Holzer, second.
Ms. Holzer with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Vade?
I had to unmute. Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar number 22-158 is granted conditionally. It'll be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thank you. Good luck, Ms. McBride.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Next case.
Okay, we have calendar number 22-162. This is at 4612 Clinton Avenue. Mark and Janet Wells proposed to erect a 2-story frame single-family residence with an attached garage in a B12 family residential district. The owners appeal for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as outlined in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 4. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Thank you. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please. Is there anyone, Mr. Mark or Janet Wells or someone representing them on the call?
All right, hearing none. Let's keep going. So we're back to the first case that no one was here for.
He's on now, Madam Chair.
Oh, okay, good.
But the councilman isn't, but we could still move
Yeah,
forward.
we
I
can deal
imagine.
with that later. Yeah. All right. We got to the swearing in part, correct?
Yeah, we had nobody to
Okay.
swear in. So just go to that.
Just go to that.
Okay, I am swearing in all who are present for case number 22-165. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
My name is Tyrone Wilkinson, 694 East 92nd Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44108.
Okay, anyone else? Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1909, a two-story dwelling was erected on the property. And in 1915, a garage was erected. And also in our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1980, a permit was issued to demolish a garage and rebuild. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the rear yard area, driveway, and accessory building distance regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wilkinson, tell us what would you like to do?
Ma'am, I have several cars and classic cars. I need a dwelling apartment and I own a property. I bought it from my neighbor and I'm paying the city as we speak for their tear down costs. And it's just an empty lot. I just want to put a garage there with a 2-level deck, spanning from the new garage all the way over to the existing garage in my backyard. That's all.
Okay, let's see. It's 1 story?
Yeah, 1-story garage.
1-story garage. Okay. Okay, yeah, thanks, Maurice. All right, let's see. All right, and can you show the property again, Maurice, so we can see how is this gonna be connected to your existing residence, correct?
No.
Okay.
It's in the lot where the previous home was standing.
Okay.
And that truck on that picture that y'all got, that's my neighbor's truck. I'm just letting them park it there until I can get something done over there.
All right,
That
so
big
your house is the yellow house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, that sounds fairly simple. I don't know.
And it's gonna be beautiful too.
Thanks for adding that part.
If you don't say so yourself.
Yeah, right. We like
city
beautiful
planning?
garages.
Yeah.
Yes, Madam Chair. We actually did some the neighborhood planner, Kim Scott, and I actually had a discussion with I think the architect that did the plans here. They had originally proposed a driveway that was going to be the full width that you see at the garage, going all the way down to the street, and they agreed to make a change so that it tapers down at the street, so we don't have a giant 16-foot curb cut. You know, at the street. I mean, they still do need the variance for having two curb cuts on the same property because, you know, he combined the parcels into one parcel. So now this throws in number 2, which causes the number 2 variance that you can't have more than one curb cut within 100 feet. Looking at the drawings on number 3, the issue for number 3, they're showing that they are within, that they are that they're within 14 feet, so they do need that one variance. They're only, I believe, a foot off, because I believe the garage is, oh, wait a minute, I take that back. 14 feet, so I'm not sure that they even need that variance. I'm not sure if we got updated drawings that were scaled to indicate that it was 14 feet and that the height of the building is 14 feet, so I don't know that they need number 3. So we would definitely recommend approval on this proposal.
Okay. Board,
Thank you.
Board, any questions?
None for me.
No questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'm wondering where the neighbor's going to park his truck after this beautiful garage.
That's my neighbor's semi. It ain't mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. She's just.
It's a lot right across the street, though. It's a lot right across the street. You can park
Don't tell
right
them to
over
park on empty lots. Don't tell them to do
Yeah,
that.
you're
not on record
that.
saying that. Yeah, you're not on record saying that. Okay, go ahead, Ms.
I just
Payne.
want to get this foundation pad poured before this weather change.
Yep.
All the way.
We're going to move you forward here, sir. So
Thank you so much.
And your council person was present earlier, so I'm assuming that I mean, he didn't say that he was approving this, but it's always a good sign when the council people are usually here. So anyway, we have eliminated number.
He said he would give me the variance and support it.
Okay. We have seen the drawings, and the peak of the gable is at 14 feet. So variance number 3 is not needed. And we know that the 2 lots have been combined into one. So that sort of covers the issues with the others. City planning approves. So, Madam Chair, with all that, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 22-165.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Member Brown, I second.
Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Madam Chair, just a comment, just to make sure our resolution is correct and not to give the appellant any grief. I think since Mr. Rulon said he didn't know for sure if the variance was needed, that we might want to leave it in there just in case it's still needed.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it is, but I'm not the zoning administrator, so I think Ms. Kukla might have a good idea that way. You're covered.
Thank you, Ms. Kukla.
All right, we'll leave it in there.
So we'll leave it in there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Fay?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar number 22-165 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thank you,
everybody.
All right.
Good luck with your beautiful garage.
Well, you know I got a multi-million-dollar structure going up the street, Miss Coker. You know who I am. And that's why I'm fixing this house up like that. So I have me a house right up the street from my restaurant.
Excellent.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
You as
Thank
well.
you. You too.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, we at old business now?
Yes, after we skipped around this agenda fairly thoroughly.
Yeah, I'm very confused where we are right now. That's why was my question.
So something happened to 2273 and 22115 before I got on?
Yeah, those were
yes, they were postponed.
And 22146?
Postponed.
Okay,
We actually 22-073, we dismissed, because that was their third asking for a postponement, so.
okay, fair enough.
We want to verify one more time if anybody is here for 4612 Clinton.
Yes. Going once.
Anybody here for, yeah.
Going twice.
You know what, Madam Chair, if you give me one moment. We just had a call come in. Give me 1 second, make sure that's not them.
I see Mr. Reardon from the CDC on the list. Is he still waiting to hear something or is he gone?
Apologies, I forgot to log out. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Just wanted to check in.
Okay, Madam Chair, thank you for the wait. That is not the appellant.
Okay.
And we contacted the appellant and there was no answer.
All right, so we'll dismiss case 22-162. All right, old business 1 through 3 without objection.
Without objection.
No objection.
And Liz, what are the stories behind these? These are the no-shows from last week.
Yeah, well, actually, one is from last week. The first one on the list is from September 12th. It's calendar number
September
22.
12th. They're just not getting back to you?
Well, so our letter in that case went out
Oh,
a
okay.
few
So
days
mail
after, so
delay.
they, sometimes the
Gotcha.
mail will take a little while to get to them.
It's not sometimes.
Yeah.
The mail is very slow. Okay,
Not
go
anymore,
ahead.
it's not sometimes.
So yeah, he was surprised that he thought it was a different date that he was scheduled for, so.
All right, so we're normally magnanimous to do one reinstatement, so we'll reinstate calendar number 22-148 without objection, board.
Without objection.
All right, and what's the second one?
It's calendar number 22-155, 17617 Sedalia Avenue. This appellant contacted us immediately the next day. She stated that there was damage to her phone, so she wasn't able to log in Monday morning.
Well, the fact that she contacted you immediately the next day seems like she was on it, so I'll give her a reinstatement this time. So we'll reinstate calendar number 22 is that 155?
Yes.
Without objection, board.
Without objection.
All right, that concludes BZA today.
All right.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good day.